What happens when A24 does an adaptation of Arthurian Tale? Find out today on The Green Knight. Warning, spoilers ahead. Welcome to TV Party Time. I'm David, joined with Michael and Abbie, and today we are going over David Lowery's The Green Knight.
Yep.
Basically, it's the story of Sir Gawain.
Is it Garwain? I swear they were saying Garwain.
No, because King Arthur in the movie kept on saying Gawain, but I think it's his accent.
I heard like 3 people say Garwain.
I only heard him say it.
Okay.
But either way,
Okay.
what's initial thoughts?
So hold on. Wait, was this actually based on something? Like I said, it was an adaptation of something.
It's based on an actual poem.
Isn't it like Canterbury
poem?
Tales? Is like the whole
They made
book?
a movie from a poem.
Yeah, that's what they used to call like the stories back in the
Like it was
medieval
one of
days,
those
like epic
long
poems.
form.
Yeah, you never read
Gotcha.
like the Canterbury Tales, things like that.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's Knights of the Round Table.
It's the writers of Chauncher was the author of most of them, but this one is they don't know who wrote it.
Yeah,
The biggest takeaway for me is just that, oh my god, it dragged on and on and on, and I was like there were many scenes where it was like a close up of him, and then a close up of the guy he's looking at, and then a close up of him again, and the guy he's looking at for takes, like several takes, and it's just like quiet the whole time. And
there's a reason.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would love to know.
Yeah.
It's because he wanted to take an 80s fantasy. That was his version of like Willow and all those all these big 80s fantasy movies, and that's how they were shot, was these really crazy close-ups. What were you going to
What's
Well, because
Willow?
I watched the Alamos thing that they posted about it. It was like the top 5 movies that he picked for influences, and one of them was
Marie Antoinette, Willow,
Joan of Arc.
Joan
The Joan of Arc movie, and they use a lot of extreme close-ups, and so that's where he got those extreme close-ups from, to let the actors act with their face rather than...
I'm all for that, but there was so much dead space where it was just back and forth, them staring at each other.
Yeah.
It worked for me. I loved it. I was totally in.
I super enjoyed it, but
so much.
Maybe it would also be helpful if I had seen any of the movies that was inspiration for this.
It wasn't even okay. If I didn't know he was going for an 80s like fantasy movie, I probably would have been like, what in the hell is going on with this? But then once I knew he was in, I was like, I could point on every reference he was doing.
Yeah, I watched that after, and I think it was just because he was trying to make like the intense scene. Because you're talking about when they're actually in like King Arthur's court, right?
That was
When you
one
see the
time
green
that it
light.
happened, yes.
So I read an article on that. For that scene, when it took him a year to edit it properly.
Ooh.
Well, it took me a year to get through the scene, so I can imagine.
Yeah. So the original cut of that sequence, like between the court and Gawain's mom making the curse, that original sequence that they did was 20 minutes. And then they decided to push the release back a year because of COVID, and so then they took more time to cut that down to 5 minutes.
So his mom was a witch.
Okay, and that's another thing that confused me.
I was really confused.
Because whenever he gets like back from, I'm guessing, the whorehouse, and he like goes up the stairs, and his mom's like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, "Mass."
Yeah.
She's like, "Where are your boots?" And then it cuts to the scene where he's in his bedroom, and his mom's like totally different person. He's like, "Go do it, and if you see something, then great." And it's like, okay, now you're a witch. I'm so confused.
His mom was the Green Knight, right?
Yeah, she's the one that summoned him.
Yeah, and it was her like testing her son.
Well, I think it was to get him his own story.
Oh, because he was such a pathetic loser. He couldn't do it on his own.
Well, the whole
it was a big ruse to get him out of the whorehouse for a year.
His mom had to step in.
Yeah, it's all because of the whores.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a big syphilis reference, the whole movie.
Oh, maybe.
So in the actual like tale, the witch who puts the curse, the Green Knight curse, is Gawain's aunt. And it's because like back in them days, back in those days, witches, or in the stories, witches were against the knights. Like,
I see.
That was who they were fighting, and they were trying to prove that chivalry was dead because knights are they're gentlemen, so they're supposed to be the most chivalrous.
Well, they weren't.
People.
They were assholes.
Yeah.
that was the fact of it, but we can
But
protect.
that was the whole thing, is that it was chivalrous, and so he had to prove his chivalry to become a gentleman. And so the aunt did it to show that the knights weren't chivalrous or something. I don't know.
Sabotaging the
Okay.
knights.
I think how. Okay, King Arthur knows that there's witches, right? He knows that his mom's.
He
a
knows
witch.
about fucking Merlin.
Yeah, that was Merlin, right? He looked just like Tim
That was absolutely
from,
Merlin
it was
from
Tim.
Tim the Enchanter
Yeah,
from Monty Python.
yeah. That's what I thought it was.
He looked like him and the dude from The Mummy that had the
Oh yeah.
tattoos under the
Yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, what was that guy's role?
That was Merlin. He's a wizard.
Oh, okay. So that makes it. I was so okay. Yeah, I missed a lot. I didn't know any of that.
So why didn't Wizard just shoot some fucking magic at the Green Knight? Problem solved.
Well, the Green Knight wasn't necessarily bad.
Well, he was there. He wanted some sport, and the kid was like, "I'm gonna cut your head off." And he's like, "Well, I guess you can do that, but you could have just
I mean,
touched me with your sword and
Yeah.
won, but you just won't be a dick about
it
it."
was all eye for an eye thing. Like I would
Yeah.
just like walk up and just like
Bing, boop. Yeah,
pooped him on the nose or something.
Yeah. That's all he had to do. But no, he wanted to prove his manliness. Is that
I
what
think
he was
But-
doing?
that was it.
But how would he know that that's what he was supposed to do?
Because they literally said it.
Oh, see, maybe this was when the lady brought my food. She
Oh.
brought my food at like a pivotal moment of either the king's monologue or
Queen.
or
When
the
she
green.
when the queen started reading the letter.
Uh-huh.
That's when he said it'd be either a scratch on the cheek or taking off your head. That's what he said.
Oh,
They all
okay.
match your blow
Yeah.
though.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Okay.
That's why the whole movie I was just like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't have to cut his head off. He did it by choice.
I think he did that like to prove that like he can kill somebody,
Mhm.
I guess. Or like he's willing to take a life for the king.
And also, Excalibur was not that cool looking.
No, I expected it like to be like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I really wanted to have Charlie Hunnam be King Arthur instead of the guy from Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't. I recognized his voice,
Mhm.
but I couldn't remember who it was. But the queen was from Game of Thrones.
Yep. They had a lot of that girl. They had a lot of it girls in
Mhm.
this movie.
Okay.
What the hell was I talking about?
Speaking of girls,
Just everything,
Excalibur.
just
so
like the movie.
his girlfriend from the beginning of the movie
Mhm.
The whore.
was the whole was
Take it easy.
that was the same actress in the end of the movie with the long hair who like
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, that's what I
It
thought.
took me a
It
second,
was supposed to be her.
but she was wearing the shawl that had
Yeah.
the bells
Yeah.
on it. That's what got me.
Oh,
That's how I was like, oh, it's supposed to be her.
It was the eyes. that
well,
got me.
right away I was like, oh, that's definitely like the same girl. So I'm guessing this is supposed to be like some metaphor, you know?
Mhm.
Think.
Also, what a dick, right?
I
Like,
know.
it's like, I'm taking your baby. Here's some money. Piss off.
Yeah, was that
I
like
know.
that was hush money, right?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Because he's the king, so it's like
Why
didn't
was he
have
the king? That's.
I
was like,
know,
how
there's
is
a
he
lot.
king
Yeah,
now?
how did he
Well, because he's the only male
inherit like
male
uh
not ancestor, other way.
Oh, he's
Heir.
King Arthur
nephew.
and yeah,
he's the only
heir.
heir.
Because they didn't have the king and queen didn't have any kids in this one at least, and his sister had a son, so that makes him first in line.
I'm really confused about the bloodline here.
I was
'cause,
confused by the bloodline.
The king is
too.
very, very white, and the main character is not white. He's Indian? India?
Mhm.
What is that? North African? I don't know, somewhere around there. But how is he related? That's where
I think that was just
confused.
one where we're supposed to look over.
Oh,
like,
okay.
not associate the ethnicity with the character or the role.
I think they
Mhm.
should have just went with he killed the Green Knight, so now he gets to be king. I thought that.
I
cooler.
thought
It's a whole royal. It's like an actual bloodline thing.
Yeah, I understand that. I just thought he even said that in the
Yeah.
previews that don't think about this.
Oh, and he did like
Yeah.
don't think about the movie too hard.
Yeah, don't. That stuff doesn't matter.
I'm really glad that I didn't realize his mom was the Green Knight. I guess that makes sense because I did say, the Green Knight's someone that you know. I'm really glad. Okay,
The
honestly,
fox said that,
I
by
thought
the
the
way.
fox-
the fox.
The fox looks
Oh.
so bad that CGI was horrendous. I thought the
Yeah.
fox said, "This Green Knight is your mom." I thought he
Wait,
said your mom.
Wait, what does the
No, he
fox say? I'm sorry,
You're
I'm
going to
moving.
hell.
Yeah. Oh my God, the fox. They ruined
I
the
love the fox. He was so cute.
but the voice didn't match the fox at all.
No, it didn't.
It was like
No,
this.
Lauren
It
said
was like
it
he-
sounded, Lauren said it sounded like a 6-year-old smoker.
I was literally about to say. It sounds like he's been chain smoking for 30 years.
Yeah,
Hey,
Mom-
the Gawain, you don't want to.
Your-
You
your
don't want
mom's
to go
the-
there. You're
your
gonna
mom's
get
the
shivved.
Green
Like,
Knight.
Sounds like a goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't match his character at all.
No, but it was very cute.
It was
This very
cute
bad
until
CGI,
they.
yeah.
It was cute until they tarnished it with that voice.
Did anyone else feel like we got ripped off on the Giants? We didn't get to see a giant wanger. I was totally expecting like a
huge dong, just like
just swinging.
Can't say
him off the
blowing in the
cliff.
wind because that needs to be a fucking tornado.
Creating
to
the
move that
wind.
size.
It would be creating the wind.
Yeah, I felt really cheated in that moment.
I don't understand the Giants at all.
I just think they were just want to throw in some Giants.
I really.
That's really
think
what
that
it was.
too.
Did he
Yeah,
ask
it's
for a
really not.
ride?
He
Yeah, he
did.
did.
You both laughed
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he yelled out
That's
at him.
fair. That's fair. I would have done it like, where are you going? Can I hop on?
And they didn't really give him an answer. They just kind of looked at him
And yelled.
yeah.
Well, no, she put her hand down for him to hop on, and he like flinched. And
Oh no, like
she's-
did that like try to grab
yeah.
him and then
Yeah.
the fox protected him?
He yelled.
Oh
He
yeah,
went,
the fox. Oh, the fox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and foxes don't do that, by the
and
way.
the Giants went.
And, yeah,
So dumb.
yeah, no, but the like foxes don't make that sound. And
What?
I don't know if you guys know, foxes don't talk.
No. And they also don't follow
Again,
pretty
what
mushrooms.
does the fox say?
Oh my gosh, the mushrooms were so gross. It was like,
Yeah.
Oh, that was like it's like I know the well. First off, he was definitely tripping balls.
Oh,
because
yeah.
he
for
looks
sure.
at his hands,
Yeah.
and it's like growing.
and that's like the first sound that you look at your hands like, oh.
Okay, so and the giant scene was not long after that, so I thought he was still tripping balls for that whole bit.
They should have cut the Giants.
So yeah, it
The
was
giants didn't
unnecessary.
make sense.
But
I
I
mean, there
think-
was a lot in that movie that
So
should have been cut.
in
Didn't
that
need to be.
behind the scenes, like the 5 influential films, he talks about the quest, which is it's a journey movie,
Mhm.
and he talks about the Dark Crystal,
Uh-huh.
like how slow that movie is because it's such a long quest,
Mhm.
and it helps you understand the character, how long that is, and so that's what he was doing with this one, showing how long those 6 days were, and by dragging it out and dragging it out. But I think what this was is, it was most of it was in his head.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He was
for sure.
imagining what this is happening or this is happening, and so it's a lot of like, this is his first time out on his own. He doesn't have very much sleep, and so it's obviously he's tripping balls with the mushrooms alone. But like before the giants, they may not actually be actual giants. This is also the Arthurian tales.
I think there was. I think he wasn't.
So-
I think it was all happened.
I think it's
I
a
think it's
bit of
fantasy.
both.
Yeah.
Like stuff happened, but maybe not to the full extent.
I like the Highwaymen.
So thought. Oh wait, no. Basically the whole end of the movie where he becomes king, that actually doesn't happen.
No.
None of that happens. It's all in his head.
It's
Yeah.
like 30 minutes.
I know. Well, okay.
It
See,
was a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah.
oh gosh,
I-
I honestly, the reason why I initially hated this movie was because to me, I honestly didn't know all of this background stuff.
Mm.
I thought the movie was really 100% just nihilism. Like I thought it was like a big like representation of like him rejecting Christianity, but then also him rejecting like any other form of religion, like paganism or
Yeah.
whatever. And so literally rejecting all like religious practice, and then just life is meaningless because you're just gonna die, which is what happens. He just gets his head chopped off.
Man.
And I was just like, wow, this is so nihilistic and self-indulgent. I am not the right audience for this. I hate this so much.
I didn't get any of that at all.
See, I thought it was completely different.
Yeah, I thought it was just a fantasy, fun
Well,
adventure movie.
see,
It was not.
so I thought with it's a coming of age story. He's a
Yeah.
young
Twice.
he's
Yeah.
a young coming twice. He's he's aspiring knight. So he has to do something creative. So he's probably in those days like early 20s, late teens. But he's going on this journey, and he's always lived with his mom, and she gives him basically a safety blanket, the belt that doesn't come off.
It's like the
Ever.
medieval
No, like,
equivalent of wearing
including during
socks to bed. It's the medieval equivalent of wearing socks when you go have sex. It's weird.
The socks don't come off, neither does the belt.
Nope.
But so he goes on
My
this
mom
journey.
made this for me. I'm gonna keep this on. Is that okay with you?
What a loser.
So he goes on this.
And the girl's like, I
Well, that's the whole thing.
guess.
That-
the face was
Yeah,
amazing.
her face like, oh, okay. Well, that's the whole
Oh,
thing. So
God.
with the belt, it represents his mom's safety, and the safety of his mom. And of his mom, there like a kid puts on a blanket to feel safe, and so he's wearing this belt the whole time because he wants to feel safe. Yes, during sex apparently too, But then at the end, when he
He's
takes it
practicing
off,
safe sex. We should be proud of him.
It's the medieval condom.
yeah, is a mom belt.
His mom's belt.
Or wait, the lady that walked in with the blindfold.
She didn't walk in.
staring
She
at
was
him
just
having
there.
What?
No, like that hostile hand job.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what was going on. I wasn't sure.
I thought it was like she was just like being seductive, and maybe she put her maybe she was having his hand on her crotch.
I thought it was that too.
And then maybe I thought then they like moved, and I was like, oh, maybe she's just getting on.
Yeah, I thought she was.
But then it's like he goes to take the belt from her, and he just like comes in his hand.
Yeah.
And she's
Wait,
just like,
You're
I
not
thought it was her hand that had to come on it.
Nope,
I thought
it was his.
because
What?
he grabbed
He was
the belt
holding
off
it,
of her
yeah.
waist,
Oh.
and so like when he touched the belt,
I thought he grabbed the belt
maybe-
and she put her hand out.
No, he was
to
holding it.
catch it.
I don't know. I
No,
thought
that
it
was
her
his hand.
No,
Because he like grabbed
complexion.
it. He grabbed it from her and came at the
He was
same
holding
time.
like he was
Oh.
holding it like this.
So he imagined her. That's what it was. That had to be like a fantasy
Maybe.
Well,
of him whacking it.
but before we get into jerking off and all that,
Oh.
let me finish my train of thought
That's
before
true.
I forget.
Oh,
So
man, I want to talk about jerking off.
taking off the belt was basically him taking off his mother's safety and him growing up and
Mhm.
turning into a
A
courageous
man.
knight. Yeah, and then getting his head chopped off.
well, the flaw with that though is
Back to jerking off.
But he lost his belt whenever he got mugged.
But the highwayman.
But he was super scared and all that, and so he was
He
still
was crying like a
he
girl.
was crying. He was acting. He was acting hopeless.
He was tied up. He was helpless.
Yeah, but then after he was still like
Also, the camera
He's-
shot was awesome as shit.
the
The
360
the 360, the double one was
Well,
great.
okay, so if we're going along that idea of like him losing the belt or taking the belt all represents how he feels about like leaving the nest. Whenever at the very very last scene, whenever it gets out of the flash forward or his fantasy of
Mhm.
him being king, and he's with the Green Knight, and he was like, wait 1 second, and then he takes off the belt. He's like, okay, now I'm ready.
So it's not leaving the nest. It's representing him being brave.
So you're saying the belt represents both at different parts
Yeah,
of
like
the
he
movie.
took it off because he's trying to be brave, basically, and standing up for himself, or not necessarily standing up for himself, but takes it off to show courage. Like he's taking off what represents his mom.
Even though his mom is the Green Knight.
He doesn't know that.
His
well, he
mom's
does
trying
know
to-
that.
his
He
mom's
doesn't
trying
know
to
that. He
make
just
him-
knows that the Green Knight is somebody he knows.
I heard mom. That's what I heard. If it was
No,
the
it
fox,
definitely
I thought
said
it
someone
was the
you know.
girl, the headless girl, who told her, "Your
Oh,
mom's the
that's right.
Green
It was
Knight."
her head. No, she
No,
just
she-
said the Green
she's-
Knight is
yeah.
someone you know.
Okay, I heard mom.
Yeah.
Maybe I was.
No, it's the Green Knight is somebody you know. But either way, he didn't know it was his mom. So she knew.
Okay,
obviously,
so
it was
then
her.
what do we think the axe represents? Because the axe shows up in different parts of the movie as well.
I think it's just an axe. It looks cool that has moss that comes out of it.
Maybe
That's what
like
I got.
carrying the burden, or some sort of like that, because he kept carrying it on
Yeah.
his shoulder.
Well,
He was
because,
showing him that he was getting heavy, and he'd
like-
drop it to his arm, and
Like, for example, the axe is important. It's definitely whenever he's in that house with the chick, with the headless chick.
Mhm.
Like, it shows up after he wakes up.
After he gets her head.
After he gets
Yeah,
her
it
head
appears
and
there.
wakes up. And then, like, the axe
You're
is there.
omitting the
Maybe be-
awesome Vin
well,
Diesel
maybe-
scene when he's under the water. Like in
Oh,
just
yeah.
like Fast 9.
Yeah.
If only it had a flashback to him walking into his dad,
Yeah.
saying he had to owe him money. And there it is. There's the Fast 9 reference.
Yep.
Mark it down.
And this movie's all about family.
Oh!
So everything is
Perfect.
Fast 9 if you think about it.
Or it's all about syphilis.
But that scene was really cool, the underwater where the lights start.
I
The
just
red
like
lights and
how they
everything
kept
coming
on changing the lights
Mm-hmm.
mid-scene.
Yeah.
But, like,
Didn't like that.
No?
Okay, I try. Okay.
for me, it made it like more mystical,
Mhm.
mythical.
I do think it definitely had it. It definitely did have that mystical thing. I think something about changing the lights mid scene with, the little, like, chapter titles that they had.
That was interesting.
It just for me, it
Yeah.
started to feel a little bit too much, a little cheesy.
It's very
I think
mandated.
they did it too many times.
Yeah.
to
I
be
think
good.
so too.
But there was also like at the because at the beginning they did it a lot,
They did it a lot.
which is cool. Like how you do like okay, this story by this person.
Mm-hmm.
That was now okay. You can do it that way, and like cut with the scene. But then it's like okay, now it shows it this one slowly. Like if you're gonna do it that much, keep the same
Mhm.
Pacing of it.
pacing or the same style. It
Yeah.
changed the
Yeah.
style several times throughout it.
And
And I didn't
it's a
like
hard
those-
font to read anyway,
Yeah.
so I was like,
Yeah, the one where they're in the other castle.
Is it the one on the lid? On the wood?
No, not
Okay.
the one where they're in the the other castle.
Where he whacks it?
Yeah, that
Okay.
castle. The jerk off castle.
Okay. Yeah, because the
Um,
husband was kind of a jerk off. And
Also,
he
I didn't
jerked
know that
off.
was supposed to be a husband. I thought it was a dad.
Oh, really?
Oh,
the
that
age
was
difference.
that was the woman's husband?
Yep.
Yeah, it was-
I for
I
sure
thought
thought
it
it
was
was her
husband.
dad.
Wait,
Yeah, I thought it was dad. Cause no, that is his wife.
the blind one or the non-blind one? That's the mom, right?
That's the mom.
Okay. Who was watching him whack it?
So the
Technically, I guess she wasn't. She was.
the man of the house and that woman in the blue dress,
That was supposed to be his.
they were husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know this?
Looked it up.
Yeah, I got those vibes because
But I thought it was
I
it was
did
son
not
and
get
daughter
those vibes.
or
I
son.
for
I thought it was
sure-
dad and daughter just
I-
because of age difference.
I 100% not only because of the age difference, but because I didn't get a romantic vibe,
Not at all.
I think he even said it. Me and the lady of the house.
and I
Oh,
figured
that
that was
would
the
make
old
sense.
woman. I figured that was the old woman with the thing.
Oh no, I could tell that was his.
I
mom.
probably didn't catch that. I was probably leaning over to Lauren saying
Oh.
something.
No,
Also,
I was into this movie. I
Why
was
did he
fully paying
kiss
attention.
him?
he was hitting on him the whole time.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
God.
he was like, look
This
look
is
at
so
this. I
telling
got this
for my
for
life.
you.
Oh, okay.
I
When
didn't know that.
The
oh,
gift
man.
part where he's like, if you take anything, you gotta give it to me. I thought
Okay.
he was gonna jerk him off.
I
on the
thought-
I thought it
horse.
was that too, but it's supposed to be the
No.
belt was what
Oh.
he gets.
Yeah.
I thought when he was saying, if I get you this food or whatever, and you leave something in the house for me, I thought it was talking about impregnating his daughter,
No,
That'd be
it's
n-
giving some.
Yeah,
gives
he
something.
gets something from him. Like it's
his seed.
No,
Yeah,
something is given
that would make sense,
to
though.
him. He has to give it to him.
No,
Okay,
no,
if
he was
some-
saying. He
but
was
I
saying.
thought it was he was gonna give him a hand job.
Yeah,
too.
that's what I thought was gonna happen.
like that's why I thought he kissed him. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
you
Well,
owe
he
me now.
says you leave. He says if I whatever I get from the forest, the
Yeah.
best I'll bring to you, but you have to leave something in the house for me.
No,
and
he
so-
said
No,
whatever you get,
whatever
you have to
get,
give to
you have to
me.
give to me. And he's like, oh, you already know everything in the
Yeah,
house.
what am
And
I
he's
gonna
like,
get
but this
from the
place
house?
is so magical and mystical.
And that's why I thought he was talking about bang my daughter and give me a son.
No,
But that was his wife.
he wanted to jerk him off. He wanted to touch his.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. Like,
What's the
I've seen
point
that.
of that? What does it have to do with the movie? What's like?
I think it's just supposed to be weird.
I think it goes into whole his journey, like everything he's dealing with for the first time.
Oh, he doesn't know his sexuality, so
No, he did. Also,
No,
he
he
said
definitely did.
unhand me after he grabs him.
yeah,
He grabbed him. He's like, unhand me.
that was really funny.
You unhand me.
Yeah. Or
Your
you hand
move.
me,
It's
you
just
hand me.
You
weird.
hand
me.
me.
You know what I'm saying? There's that boar I just gave you. I need something from that.
Yeah. Also, he kept on calling it a house.
Yes.
Mickey Mouse would be jealous of that castle. Like, that was huge.
Yeah. The
And-
photo. Was
Yeah, the
really
photo.
cool.
I was literally just thinking. I was like, and then the photo
The
exists.
emulsion
That was interesting.
didn't make any sense.
Didn't make
Had nothing
sense,
to do
but I
with
liked
anything.
it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then I thought that photo of him, this portrait, I thought that shows up later whenever he becomes
does.
king.
It does.
Yeah.
But that's also his fantasy.
Right.
Yeah. I was also thinking that was some like
Although I-
Dorian Gray kind of thing where like
Oh.
it took his soul.
Mhm.
Mm. I still don't think it was a
Mm.
fantasy. I still think this movie is all about nihilism, and that was just him showing what his life would be like if he stayed the conventional like Christian route or whatever.
I didn't get that at all. I think this is A24's attempt at making a fun fantasy movie, and this is what we got.
Yeah, it was like a suspense fantasy.
There's
Because
also
he looked so
comedy.
but
Random bits of comedy that was
It was
weird.
weird.
It didn't
work.
fit.
it didn't
No, at
fit
all.
Except for the very last line, which I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Just because there's nothing else to follow.
Yep.
You're so brave. Well, off with your head.
I thought she was gonna kiss him on the cheek, like boop.
I didn't even know that was a woman. Is it supposed to look like a woman?
The Green Knight. No, I just think he's just supposed to look menacing.
Okay.
But the voice and demeanor completely turned into his mother. I got that anyway. At the end,
Sounded like his
I could
mother.
see that. Yeah.
the,
Like,
no, the face
He's
and
like,
just
"You're
like
so
the way
brave,"
she
yeah.
spoke, not the tone, but the way she spoke.
My
Personality.
brain just was not looking at that at all, I guess.
I was 1,000,000% into this movie the whole time. I was like, hell yeah.
yeah, I love the
I
movie,
love
but
it.
I also love riffing on it. Like, for me,
Yeah.
this was the perfect riff track movie.
Yeah.
But is there any good parts that you like?
Okay, I do think visually it was really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I do appreciate that they did something different from a lot of movies. Like, even though I didn't necessarily love the idea of having the like the title cards for each section of the movie, I didn't really like that, but I appreciated that that was just the style they were going for. Like, very like, just felt like very like Shakespearean, and with
like
the
Act
with the
One.
language, and it just felt like it was supposed to be like almost like a visual representation of someone reading a storybook.
Mhm.
You know, and I was like, okay, I can appreciate that. I thought the woman who played his lover and that guy's wife, I thought she was fantastic.
So I thought,
And if it was truly about nihilism, then I'm happy there's content for people who think that way. It's just I don't feel like I was the right audience for the movie, so I didn't like it. It was depressing.
it was. I
and
mean,
boring.
it's A24, so it's definitely artsy. But the camera work I thought was amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
I love.
I also really like. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, you did. So.
I did.
What were you gonna say? Because I'm gonna remember this part because I want to talk about.
I also really liked the spunk, like the trickster-y guy.
I thought you were
Who
about to say
finds him
something
in-
else.
The spunk.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I
Spunky
heard
part.
spunk.
The trickster-y guy. I liked his character. He was fun.
Who?
He did it well.
The guy who like tricked
the
him.
highwayman.
The
The
highwayman.
Okay.
the younger one.
I didn't care so much for his little goons, but I did.
I thought they
I
were
liked
bear
him.
people, like with little.
Like I
Little-
thought they were
I
barbarians or something.
definitely got some Where the Wild Things Are vibes,
Mhm.
which didn't fit.
Yeah.
But then I was like, again, storybook. Okay, just go with it.
He's also a weak bitch because those two little kids held him down. Like, come on, dude,
Yeah.
you
I think
look
they
like a
were
muscle.
kids.
They
They
were
look like kids to me.
I thought they're.
they were definitely
I
grown
think they looked
adults.
like they could have been the other one's parents.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't get that at all. I thought they were all the same age. They were just like all
We're
friends.
talking
or
about the
something.
highwaymen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're,
The-
they,
the
they
trio.
were kids.
They
were
were
all
They
like
kids.
didn't
high-
really
they were
show
like-
the other two that much, so I.
They look
that's
like
They
why-
had definitely like close-ups. They looked like kind of like they dirty but I thought they were all like 20s.
That makes
they're
sense if they're all this.
teens,
That would make
20s.
sense then. Yeah, if they're all just trying to swindle their way.
Yeah.
But with the camera work on that scene too, because they did a long shot on that scene,
They did.
which I loved.
I thought it was really impressive.
And then when he's leaving the castle, just that really long,
Oh, yeah.
boring shot.
Yeah. It's
But I
very good.
loved it because
Yeah.
it's just him walking. There's no music, and it just shows how boring it is.
yeah.
There's the one scene in the couple's castle,
Mhm.
and they're at the dinner table.
The sex dungeon,
The sex dungeon.
there's
And
sex,
there's that-
sex
The
castle.
swingers paradise.
And there's
Yeah.
that push-in that lasts for like 10 minutes. The push-in's like so slow, and it's like they're talking, and it's still going.
Is it
for
when the
10
wife's
minutes.
doing the dialogue
Yes.
or the like monologue?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they shot everything in like 16K and did all digital push-ins
Mm.
because there were so many push-ins in this movie. There's like a scene where it's like pushing. Every scene had a push-in.
I think he just took his influences too far and wanted to show so much homage to everything
Mhm.
he loves.
Mm.
And
There's just a
took it
lot
too
of
far.
push-ins.
Because in that,
They were pushing the boundaries.
that's two. in the scene where he kills the Green Knight, one reason it took him so long to edit is so they had 3 days to shoot it, but it took them 5 days. It was a 5-page scene,
Mhm.
and they didn't have enough coverage, and so he had to use different shots from different parts of that scene to make it all fit. And so, like, I thought that scene should have been a winner
Mhm.
Which
because it
is
would add to the intensity of him having to prove himself in front of all these other legendary knights.
Mhm.
And it could have just been the camera like walking around or just panning back and forth. It could have done so much more instead of just cutting, and kind of took away like the intensity of that scene, and it made it quicker. When I think it should have been a long, drawn out process of
Yeah.
his process of like, this is gonna be the first time I ever kill somebody in front of everybody, in front of the king. It's the pivotal, like the biggest pivotal moment in the movie, and it just goes by not too quick, but quicker than it should have, I think.
Yeah, I get that.
I didn't feel like it went by too quickly. Personally.
It wasn't too quickly, it's faster than it should have. I think it should have been drawn out more.
Mm. It felt drawn out a little bit.
I thought
I thought you were talking about the cuts. It should have been a one shot.
Yeah, it should have been, because they would have made it seem longer.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I have no complaints on how quickly it passed by, just because I feel like so much of this was unnecessarily dragged out. Is that the word, dragged?
I think something that really didn't help that was the music. I think the music was horrible.
All
like,
the choir
All the
stuff?
choiring stuff was like way too much, and they could have
Mhm.
like if they had a better score, it would have really added to the fantasy aspect. But they just did the A24 sounds with the clock ticking,
Yeah.
really amping up like Foley noises into the soundtrack,
Mhm.
and I just I hated it. It almost killed the movie. Was the score
Oh, I
because
didn't
it made
think
her
it was that bad at all.
it made the scenes drag out and just gave them weird moods that
Mhm.
I don't think they were going for.
I didn't. I do think some parts of the score were weird, and just like way too dramatic for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mhm.
and don't get me wrong, I love like choral stuff. love it. And I thought in a lot of places it was really pretty. It was like the right mood. But just sometimes it was like so loud and so intense for like what I didn't think was an intense moment. So I was just like, ow.
Oh yeah, and the weird like Irish butt rock song they played.
I don't remember
Like when
that
he
at
was
all.
riding away into like the dawn or something, and it was like the acoustic guitar, and it was like, hey, yep,
Oh, yeah.
So it's Sons of Anarchy sounding song. That's all. It's like
Was that,
Irish
like-
Sons of Anarchy.
Was that the beginning of his
It was like the end. It was like
seeing the future?
halfway. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Also,
like,
I loved that sequence. It also felt like 4 hours,
oh yeah,
but I loved that whole sequence. Like, there's no dialogue. It was just
I thought it was
just the
good.
music
The music
and
was bad,
showing it.
but
But in that scene or in that sequence, you see the prince, the now prince, his son,
Mhm.
as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and then it shows him on the battlefield. It shows now King Gawain on the battlefield going
Mhm.
into a tent. I didn't know that was his son.
oh really?
Oh yeah.
It-
I could tell
he
by the
went-
skin.
The skin tone didn't match. His facial features didn't match.
Yeah,
it was
it
a
was-
different ethnic actor.
I
and
just
so I
saw
was like,
it was
wait
someone
a second.
brown. I was like, oh, that's probably got to be his kid.
I
Because
didn't think he was brown. I think they used the color of the tent to try to make him look darker.
Oh really? I
Yeah.
saw he looked like he was
I thought.
Indian.
Yeah, I thought his facial features.
I
looked-
did not see that at all. It took me a second to realize, like, oh wait, that's a prince because the headband.
Yeah, it was a completely different looking. The nose was way different than
The
when he
nose
a
was
young kid.
very
Maybe that's what
different.
it was. It took me like the only reason I knew it was a prince is because of the headband, not because of what he looked like,
Mm.
which could have helped a lot more if they got
Someone who just
a
looked like the
better
child
looking,
actor.
yeah.
But the thing that bothered me is like the movie is so drawn out, and then in this moment where like he has a son, and then the son is old enough to go out to war, it's just like that happened in 25 seconds. So I was just like, these are all the things that made me feel like it was such a self-indulgent movie. It was really just there. I feel like to me it just felt like the director just really wanted to like stroke his ego. I didn't like it.
I think he really
I
wanted to
just
make
didn't.
Willow, and that's what he did.
I never
Yeah.
saw it, so I couldn't
Oh,
tell.
it's there's like the cage when the crossroads, and there's that
Mhm.
cage with the skeleton in it. That's Willow, and there's like so many Willow references.
That's why I said I think he just took his influences and
Too
put
far.
it too much into the
Yeah.
movie. Like he could have. Well, you say drawn out scenes.
hmm
I think there's a difference between drawing out a scene and having a long scene
hmm
that like
agree.
feels appropriate to be that long.
I agree.
And when you get to a point where once you reach that drawn out point where it's like, okay, like either nothing has happened or it doesn't fit what's going on, like I think it has to do with the immersion of it. So like I like how when he was by himself there was no music. All you heard was the wind, the walking, the
Mhm.
trees, and then you see somebody and then you start hearing music for the first time. It's like, I would have saved it. I would have kept still no music until he got to the castle for the first time where it would be common to hear music.
Mm.
And
I
so I
see.
think that's where it's because throwing in that music, like, okay, now it should be changing or something should be happening now
yeah,
that we hear the
it's supposed to
music.
signify
And
something.
you're like, okay, change it. And so that's what I think. Maybe that's where the drawn out comes from. Is that
That and just all of the dead space. There was just a lot of useless moments. to
well, it's
me.
like yeah, like the giants.
That's the
and-
director.
Oh,
Because
that-
his movie Ghost Story, everyone loves, and I hate it. Everyone's like, oh,
Isn't that the
this movie's
one
so
with
good.
where he's the ghost that wears like the sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, long drawn out, and it's just like, why does anyone like this? And I saw it was the same director, and I was like, oh man. But he improved a lot from that movie, but he still has those same problems of the drawn out, dragging. Like
I do think some people like that.
it's a style.
It's a style,
It's
yeah.
A24.
Well, usually I hate the super long drawn out ones, like The Revenant. I absolutely hated. I hate it because it was just okay. It's a dude's journey. Like you're just showing art just to show art,
Mhm.
and it was shot beautifully. It was really cool in pictures, but it's like I don't want to watch a movie where it's just slow, and oh, he got hurt. What do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Now here's my
That's why
question for David: would you
Go
rather
on.
see another Arthurian Tale by Lowry or another guy, Richie One?
Which it would depend on who.
Like
It depend on the story.
I would like to see him co-direct and have the crazy visuals of Lowry with Richie's directing style.
See,
How insane would that be?
I think Richie could do those title cards
Uh-huh.
really fucking well.
Way better, yeah.
It could have because it could have been part of the story rather than just like overlay.
hmm
Yeah, maybe that was why I didn't like the way because it felt so like every time the card happened, I was just like, I was very aware I was watching a long movie.
Mm-hmm.
If it had felt more like intentional, like it was part of the storytelling, maybe I would have liked it more.
Well, so like in Inglourious Basterds, when Tarantino does it, it cuts or fades to black, and then it says like chapter.
Mhm.
Would that have been better?
I've never seen
All right.
that.
Yeah, this movie is very similar to the movie Mandy. If anyone's ever seen it, same thing. They have title cards, but they do it way better. They're actually animated, and
Yeah,
fun.
I don't dislike the title cards. They just could have been better because
They
it's
could have been
hard
a
to
lot better.
read.
Hard.
They
to
don't
read.
look that good either.
They don't look great. It just
Yeah.
looks like it was done in like Illustrator or
yeah.
something. And then
Especially on that table.
it was super it wasn't contrasting.
Mhm.
And so when they're at the castle, it says like something, and I'm like squinting to try to read it, and then it changes. Like, oh,
It
well,
was
I don't know the name of this one.
Yep, it was like that for a lot. There was one specifically where I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was like just one really long one. It was like taking up the entire screen,
Mhm.
and I still couldn't read it. It was the entire
It was the
screen.
font.
There's
It was
one
the
where it's like
font.
it's something of the minimum or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
just staring like, oh, well, no, I'm not gonna know what that
That's
means
gone.
now. It's to make it contrasting, or just if you want to keep it in that style, make it a little bit more modern, or just don't do it or something like that. I don't
Just
know.
yeah, we could just do a sans serif font and make it easier to read. Can we please?
So that's why I liked the one at the beginning where it says an adaptation
Mhm.
of this
Mhm.
by Anonymous. That was cool how they did that.
Mhm.
And then I think the next one says Sir Gawain, but it goes through like the
40
Loki
times, yeah.
titles where it's
Mhm.
like, am I looking at the same thing? Am I reading something different? It's like, oh no, it's just saying Sir Gawain like 80 different times. Like just keep one. Like
Yeah.
pick one style and go with it.
I like the idea. The execution wasn't there, but it didn't
Mhm.
bother as much as it bothered Abbie. But
I learned to just accept it as like this is supposed to be like as if someone's reading a storybook or like a
Mhm.
fairy tale.
They should have done it like Shrek. Where it just opens up the book. Once upon a time.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
So on that Shrek note,
yeah.
on that Shrek note,
let's move into
I'll say you're an all-star. Wait, what's the song they used? Smash Mouth.
yeah.
hey
Hey, now
now.
you're an all-star.
Oh, that's that movie. I thought it was the other Smash Mouth song that's big. I'm a believer.
Oh, no, yeah, that's
Oh,
one
they
they
used
play.
that one too.
Okay.
Is that in Shrek 2 though?
That's at the end of Shrek.
I don't
1.
remember.
Is it? Okay,
think
I
it
know
was
it's
in the
definitely
Yeah.
at the end of one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, do we have anything else to talk about? Oh, because Shrek is green. That's why you brought it up.
Nope, I was doing because
No, because
Oh.
the storybook. The
Oh,
storybook.
storybook. Well, Shrek is also green.
Well,
He is
I'm
technically
Fun
a green
fact.
knight. Yeah.
Fun fact, as if no one. I bet you the Shrek storybook font was easier to read.
well,
which
to
is
be
why-
fair, he also said it.
Okay, well then they could have done that too
Do you
in
think-
the creepy witchy voice.
Do you think Sir
And then
Gawain
Fox,
could have?
Once upon a time.
If Shrek was the Green Knight, would Sir Gawain would have beat him?
Well, technically, he didn't beat the Green Knight ever.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, I just thought of one thing that I was so proud of the joke in the movie theater. He said when Gawain's mom says, "When you wear this belt, you're gonna come back with holding your head high." I thought it was gonna be like his head's off and he's literally holding up like
yeah.
holding it in the air like the Green Knight did as he's walking and like
Headless
his
Horseman.
head's laughing. I was
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
I loved that part. It was so stupid.
Oh,
But he's like, and he's like riding off with his own head, and he's like looking backwards too. And nobody batted an eye in the courtyard. Just like, oh, there goes the Green Knight.
Yeah,
There's
no one
literally-
beforehand's like, hey, there's some dude coming here and he's
Yeah.
green and
He looks like
his
a
moss.
tree.
Yeah, he looks like you look like shit, man.
Oh,
Man,
I
let
thought
him
he
in
was
here.
just summoned from the seance that they
He
did.
was,
Oh, okay.
but I'm just being silly.
Oh.
But
yeah.
So let's go with reviews.
So wait. You
Before-
didn't finish your thought though. So you thought his mom was saying you're gonna come with your head held high.
I thought
literally.
he was gonna be holding his head up, like it was gonna
Oh,
be.
okay.
He was gonna be headless again,
mhm.
walking into the court, like I'm back, but his head's like in his hand.
So did the girl with the headless girl? Did she represent something? It's because like it's just like
I think it's
She's
just him
missing
tripping
her head.
balls.
Yeah.
So that is an actual story though. Like that saint is a person that actually happened to in real life.
so it just so happens to be that she's just missing her head, or was that
He's-
supposed to
he's-
represent
Like-
like
all it is David Lowery was paying homage to that story and that saint. That's
Oh.
all it was.
And it's just a side quest. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But like the headless girl, does that represent his fear of losing his own head, or his guilt of taking the knight's head,
I don't know.
or is it just a coincidence
Nope.
that she's also headless?
I'm sure it has.
No,
something
in
to
this
do
in the
with something.
story, in the actual story, she gets her head. She's a martyr.
Oh,
and
okay,
she got
that's
her head
what I
cut
was
off by a
wondering.
suitor, and then a knight goes in there. I can't remember the exact night, but he goes in there and puts her head back on her body and it heals her. And so now that well in real life, like in
not real life.
in Wales. No, yeah, in Wales.
Oh.
It's known as like the Wales head or something like that.
Oh, I thought you
And
meant
it's
in real
known-
life. A knight came and put someone's head on them and healed them.
No, but that's the
Man,
a
you
knight,
don't know, man.
yeah.
It might have happened, man.
That's the whole story behind that well. So it's based around that well and
I see.
that saint. So that saint was a real person. She did get her head cut off. The well is a real well. Whether she came back to life or not, that's still up for debate.
Well, no, it didn't happen.
But yeah, that's a whole actual story, and that well
see.
is like known for its healing
I
powers.
think that was my favorite part of the whole movie, honestly. That sequence. It was just so weird. I love floating ghost people.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I just snorted. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Are you human
Yeah,
or a
that
ghost?
was weird.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Get my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the weird pocket of comedy.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense for the time.
Nope.
The language. He's talking in like Shakespearean language, and then she's just like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go get my head, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I think I liked it so
Hook
much.
it up,
was
yo.
so
Get my dome that's in that pond.
It was so out of place. It was good.
Yeah, it was really weird. Just so weird.
Yep.
Anyway,
Any other
rating.
weird parts?
I'm gonna rate this like 3 cum belts out of 10.
Just let. Oh no, I was about to say something else. I was gonna say let it soak in, but don't let it do that. Don't let it do that. Just move on quickly.
Did he clean it after he grabbed it with his cummy hand?
It's like wiped on the bed or something.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine like one of the knights saw it and is like, what is that stain on your belt? It's
I'm
like,
just
Nothing.
trying to picture the real life people who had to make the fake cum. They're comparing. What are they like? It was so lotiony. They were like, you can tell someone's like, is that close enough to real cum? Yeah,
Best
squirt it
part,
on there.
Somebody got paid
It was
to
like
do that.
it was like porn star amounts. It was like. I don't know why I'm this way. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody who has to witness me. Anyway, what do you rate it?
Before she goes back into anything else, please.
Oh man, you have to go because I can't think of anything.
Yeah, mine was similar. Mine was gonna be similar comparison, but I was gonna give it an 8 out of 10 hostile hand jobs.
I'm gonna go 9 silver bells on a whore's jacket.
I was about to say you went so like nice with the love and then a horse jacket.
Yeah, I felt like I was going too nice. I had to throw in the whore.
Overall rating, like we'd give it like a 60 between all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it again.
Yeah,
Maybe not soon,
yeah.
but
That's a good movie to put on when I'm about to go to sleep. 'Cause
Yeah.
Because it's so boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put you
Sleep
right to
movie.
sleep.
Yeah.
well, that's the Green Knight.
Yep.
So remember to like and comment on YouTube. And then we have Instagram, and we had a random reel blow up. Let's see if we can do that again.
That was so cool.
That was cool. So we'll do that. That's on Instagram at TV Party Time, and then Facebook at TV Party Time Pod.
And if you
Woo.
don't,
We'll
send the Green Knight after you with cum hands.
Oh.
Did I ruin it?